My name is Alyssa Ekton, and I am on the pro side of should cell phones be allowed in class. I would like to thank my teammate Naomi, and I would also like to thank Ms. Bennett for being here today to hear our debate. Also, thank you to the opposing team, Sydney Grecian and Violet Sue. Also, thank you to Camera Filmer for being able to film this debate. Cell phones. Don't you wish you could have them in class? They would be so useful in many different ways. You could listen to music, which calms many people down, use them for emergencies if anything ever happens on campus. It helps relieve stress and anxiety, and can help for many educational purposes. For example, researching and taking notes. These are just a few bigger topics on why cell phones will eventually be allowed in class and used. Music and stress. Music calms many people down and has been researched and shown that it soothes the mind and body, also blood pressure and even stress hormones. Music helps many people depending on what type of person they are and what genres of music they are interested in. They even say that they like people to listen to music or watch something that calms you down after having surgery or something painful that happens because it will distract you from other things. Listening to music on your cell phone will not use bandwidth, which makes the internet slow down for everyone, and I know that this school does not like any time of the day. Even though singing along is probably distracting and a bad choice to make during class time, it does relieve tension. Music is also very good to listen to in class because it helps disabled children or students that are not good at staying on task. It especially helps boost to stay on task of many moody teenagers that get emotionally quickly. Listening to music releases a lot of stress, and this is one big and important topic that cell phones should be allowed in class. In case of an emergency, when you least expect something to happen, it could happen out of nowhere. So you should always have a device or something to use to call someone if you are in need of help. Another reason why it would be helpful for you and your parent or any family member is that it would be easy for your parent to contact you in case something happens in your family or you need to leave immediately or maybe after school situations if your family cannot pick you up. If you didn't have a phone to be able to contact a family member or anybody, it would be a lot more difficult. If you think about it, having a cell phone during an emergency is a very important thing to have. Educational purposes. When you are researching, do you really like to handwrite each and every note that you take? Well, if you had a cell phone in class, you would be able to take notes on your cell phone, which would make it a lot easier. Also, don't you think that having your phone, you would be able to finish your work a lot faster with technology? Having your phone in class will make you become a lot more organized too. This is because you can have many different types of calendars and notifications to remind you things to do. Another way you can use your phones educationally is that teachers could remind students about certain important projects. You would be able to do this over text messages, which is a lot easier than over email. This is how you can use cell phones for educational purposes to make notes and similar things like that. With all of this information about
So everything that you say we can do with our Chromebooks, do with our phones, we can also do with our Chromebooks.
Yeah, but that uses more bandwidth, because your phone isn't connected with the school or the school, so it wouldn't be a problem. With all of this information about making you feel safer in case of an emergency, music and stress and educational purposes, how you could use it in class should help you see why you should have cell phones in class. Wouldn't you want to have your cell phones in class? Think about it for one more moment and you will see why we have won this debate.
We are the con side of this argument. Before we start, we would like to thank the opposing team, Naomi and Alyssa, as well as the audience for attending and the opponents debating with us, as well as Mrs. Bennett for organizing everything in this debate. We would also like to thank Ariza for running around and dealing with everyone's problems, and Roy for filming our debates. I would also like to thank Violet. We hope that we can persuade you to feel that cell phones should not be allowed in school or class. We believe that cell phones should not be allowed in class. They are a large distraction because you can play games in class. They allow kids to do mean and inappropriate things to one another, like spread bad rumors and inappropriate pictures. Cell phones also seem to categorize people as cool. We mean that if you don't have a cell phone or social media, people tend to think of you as an outcast or someone who doesn't belong. I have walked by lockers to hear phones ringing, texts being gotten, and other cell phone-like noises. I've seen people get in trouble for having their phones when they weren't supposed to be there. Plus, if cell phones do make it to school, there's always the possibility of losing your amazing piece of technology. From a survey, we know that 56.3% of people who responded to our survey agree that cell phones are not something that students should have at school. If schools allowed cell phones in class, they would allow people to cheat on tests. You don't want schools to allow cheating, do you? Yes.
If you had your cell phones, if you were allowed to have your cell phones in school, you wouldn't get in trouble.
That is true. But what I'm referring to is at our school, you're not supposed to have them.
Yeah.
Yet anyway, people have them anyway, and they shouldn't have even brought them because they're a distraction and other things.
But if you were able to have them, then you would.
Exactly. So, the opposing team has stated that listening to music actually helps relieve stress and keep you concentrated. But while multitasking, even just listening to music can lower productivity by 40%. When schools allow cell phones into class, they allow people to play games rather than listening to the teacher. You already have enough problems with people playing games and not paying attention, but you can see what they are doing and stop them because of adult supervision websites like GoGuardian, but not on personal devices. There isn't a way to see what students are doing on devices not incorporated with the district. Besides, even if they are on their phone listening to music while still doing work, it provokes bad distractions and habits. Yes.
During class, many students talk when working or when it's quiet time, so a phone or listening to music would block out all that talking, which they find distracting, and many songs can be viewed as calming and can let the student focus on what they're doing.
While that is true, many more songs can be distracting, inappropriate, things like that. Rock songs, pop songs, basically any song with words, and you start humming along or singing, which provokes you to talk yourself, creating more chaos. We understand that you may want your phone for an emergency, but chances are there won't be an emergency where you should use your phone, for say, a lockdown. I really don't think you should be calling or texting during a lockdown. If you do, you may give away the fact that you're in your classroom, or a tsunami. You really don't need to call 911. I'm pretty sure they know that a giant wave is destroying and killing people already. Yes.
During a tsunami, you wouldn't really be in school per se, or wouldn't have your phone, and you would probably have already evacuated, so it isn't really needed to have a phone, or would be useful to have a phone in that point anyway, because you probably wouldn't have it.
Thank you for proving my point. If a school lets people in, the school is also letting inappropriate content in. Unlike school computers, websites and apps on the phone can't be blocked. This means people can and will go on inappropriate websites and do inappropriate things. When people do this, they often find inappropriate things on the web like photos, videos, and other things like that. Students will also find current events that they really shouldn't worry about, like wars, shootings, and natural disasters. This also allows younger children to get exposed to the more gruesome side of the World Wide Web. I'm sure parents and teachers don't want younger children to start knowing about family life and that. Yes.
The children of many schools have listened to the news, radio, and many other informational places where they do learn about war, gruesome details, and violence, so having a phone wouldn't really affect that.
Maybe. Our last point is that people judge you on the fact of if you have a phone or not. This is an unfair judgment. That is because some people don't have enough money for a phone or just don't want one. This also includes social media. If you aren't caught up on all the news, memes, celebrity gossip, or cute cat videos, people see you as someone who isn't or shouldn't be popular. From personal experience, I know that it's easier to stay away from gossip and drama, but people are always telling you to go to Snapchat and look at how pretty someone is, how weird this post is, or how cringy this video is, and things like that. If you bring your phone to school, there's always a possibility of losing it. From a survey, we've concluded that most people will be greatly affected from the loss of their mobile device. What if you left your phone on the desk? Someone could come and take it. How about you accidentally left your phone in your locker? You went home and you wouldn't have it. Most people would totally freak out if they lost their phone. I know I would. Wouldn't you? If you add up our reasoning and logic, you'll see cell phones aren't a necessity to school. We don't need them in our place of learning. If phones were banned from our schools, not only would our schools become a more educational place, but a safer one too. That is why we have won this debate.
Hello, our names are Alyssa Ekton and
Naomi L.
and we're on the pro side of this debate, should cell phones be allowed in class. We'd like to thank Ms. Bennett for supervising this debate, the audience for listening, and camera crew for filming. Our main points are cell phones make students feel safer. In case of an emergency occurs, playing music makes the school a more comfortable place, and phones can help with research aspects of school.
The cons side believes phones are distracting. They make students judge others who don't have a phone. They will make students cheat during a test, and many other topics concerning the students' well-being of school. They may be right. Listening to music would be a distraction. Having a phone for an extreme situation wouldn't be necessary because there's unlikely there will be one. Using phones for education wouldn't actually result in education, but it's actually proven that music helps you focus. Phones make students feel safer. It's a quick way to contact 911 just in case a situation occurs, and phones allow you to take more helpful notes during class.
When we asked the question of should cell phones be allowed in class, 64% of people said that we should have cell phones in class, while 36% of people said that we should not have cell phones in class. The people that answered no were the opposing team and 6 other people who could not be persuaded. Listening to music on your phone will allow you to relax by lowering your heart rate, pulse, blood pressure, and stress hormones. It doesn't use the school's bandwidth, which slows our computers down. It brings security to distressed and disabled children, boosts life quality, especially in moody teenagers, reduces emotional stress and stress for patients before and after surgery. If it works on them, then it'll work on us too.
Lowering your heart rate, blood pressure, and pulse can help you relax during class, which allows you to feel more comfortable and at ease when working on a project during school. Although stress hormones are believed to be a good thing, they can increase heart rate and elevate blood pressure, which you wouldn't want when you're trying to feel at ease. Bandwidth in many schools is a problem. Using it for streaming music wouldn't help speeding our computers up, but on phones, you already have the songs downloaded, so it won't affect the bandwidth. Music boosts life quality because it makes you happy, which is great for teachers because moody teenagers won't be so moody. And even though you probably shouldn't do this in class, singing helps with all these things and more, claims PsychCentral.com.
The question, do you think music would help you learn and focus, had a result of 82% agreeing, saying that music would help you focus, while the other 18% disagreed and said the opposite. Using cell phones for educational purposes can vary from watching an educational video, recording notes and dates of assignments in your calendar, silent communication about the project assignment, and listening to music to block out time.
Watching a video on your phone allows you to forget the hassle of fitting your notes and the video on the same screen. Recording notes on your phone will allow you to not get scolded by the teacher for forgetting your things. Plus, digital notes allow you to draw descriptive things. Yes.
So you keep saying that you can do notes on your phone, which is easier than writing. But on your phone, you have to use your thumbs and type like that, which is actually harder than writing, in my personal opinion. Besides, we have our Chromebooks, and typing on our Chromebooks doesn't take up much bandwidth either.
We aren't really talking about just this specific school. A lot of schools don't have computers and they have phones. But then again, you can ask a teacher for things, but then you may get judged as you were concerning about people being judged if they don't have a phone, which can help in our situation. Back to my recording notes on your phone will allow you to not get scolded by the teacher for getting your things. Plus, digital notes allows you to draw descriptive things, examples, and any other ideas you find useful. Recording dates on your phone will give you a heads up the day before the assignment's due and will allow you to keep up with your good grades, instead of getting a late or bad grade. And you can silently communicate if it's silent work time to avoid getting scolded by an adult for asking a question out loud.
We asked the question, if students use their phones, would they get things done faster? A total amount of 82% surveyed yes, they will get things done faster, and 18% surveyed no.
So back on the point of silently communicating during silent work time, that means most likely the teacher doesn't want you talking to any other student with your mouth or with your devices because they want you to do it on your own to develop personal skills rather than social skills.
Well, when you have a question about the thing, that you're doing, the project you're working on, and you're not allowed to talk, silent communication will allow you to get your answer, to get your project done faster, and you'll have a better understanding, which can improve your social skills, which would allow you to become more confident in asking questions when it's time to ask questions and not just silent work time.
Many people claim to feel safer if they had their phone on them during class time. They thought about calling 911 if an emergency occurred, a quick way to contact their parents day after school. Or go with a partner for a project would be a way to use your cell phone.
Having your phone in class will allow you to be prepared for an emergency and will keep you calm if one is happening. Having a phone in class will allow you to contact parents about staying after school if you have to go home with a partner to finish a project. Not only can you use your phone to contact parental figures, but parental figures can contact you. By allowing phones in class, or in this case school, parents won't have to do so much worrying about where their child is and what they're doing. Yes?
So you said that you could use your cell phone to contact your parents or 911 when an emergency occurs, but there's also phones in the classroom and phones at school for you to contact them that way.
Usually when you want to contact a parent, my friend has actually called her parent in the office, and then her parent does not respond. And we had to stay after school to help create posters for ASD. And she ended up texting her mother on her phone, but she forgot to go to the office. Then her mother then called the school, got her slightly in trouble, and which created a whole giant mess for us and would create more stress for students.
When we asked the last question of would students feel safer if they had their phone on them in class, 96% said they would feel safer, and the only person that said no was on the opposing side.
Taking all of our